South Africa is probably watching one of the greatest police showdowns in history. It's a true battle that's busy taking place of good versus evil, light versus darkness, corruption versus righteousness. And I'm really trusting that righteousness and justice, God's justice, is going to prevail in this matter. Like you guys well know, a couple of months ago, General Mkhwanazi had claimed that certain investigations had been completely shut down in order to protect corrupt politicians as well as crime syndicates, which is, listen, if this thing comes to light fully, it is a game changer of note. So for those of you that don't know what's busy happening, let me read some things to you. But hey, if we're just meeting now for the first time, my name is William Moyses, CEO and founder of King in Me, the fastest growing faith-based empowerment organization for youth in South Africa. And I'm so excited to be sharing with all of you here today. So like the video, leave your comments down below, and let's get into the content for today. So General Mkhwanazi blew the whistle on what he says is a massive corruption inside the South African police, accusing high-ranking officials of protecting crime syndicates and shutting down investigations that pointed to close to powerful politicians. His bombshell testimony exposed how task teams were dismantled, dockets were buried, and investigators were intimidated to keep politicians clean and gang bosses safe. Now, you know that there's a lot of trouble when a country begins to protect criminals, because that is an exact representation of the Dark Kingdom. Because again, anything in the kingdom of darkness does not want anything coming into the light for the fear of being exposed. Now, listen, campione, exposure is necessary for healing to take place and to happen. But let's keep reading over here. It says, the government responded by launching the Madlanga Commission, which is obviously currently busy happening, a high-level inquiry now digging into these claims. Key officials implicated, including the police minister and deputy commissioner, have been suspended, and Mkhwanazi has already testified under oath, naming names and pointing to money trails linked to the underworld. Okay, so where do things ultimately stand now? The commission is in session. Mkhwanazi has come out swinging with evidence. Politicians are in panic mode. Well, the corrupt ones. If you aren't corrupt, you don't have to panic. This is the amazing thing about walking. This is the amazing thing about walking with integrity. When you walk with integrity, there's no fear of you being caught out because you're not doing anything sketchy. There's no skeletons in your closet. Everything is transparent. Everything is out into the open. So if you are a young person starting a business or wanting to go into ministry or to start a ministry, listen, walk with integrity. Take love and faithfulness, tie them around your neck, bind them around your neck, all right, so that you might win favor with both God and man, like Proverbs 3 ultimately says. Do things with transparency. Do things with integrity if you are, going into business and by the way, not just going into business, but in every area of life. Life works a lot better when we are integrous, when we walk with absolute integrity, where there's nothing to hide. You can then approach life with absolute confidence, with absolute precision, because there's nothing for you to hide. Okay, so some politicians are in panic mode, denying everything. The public is watching. Trust in the police obviously is busy breaking down. So what's coming next? Two things in particular. Here's the defining moment. The defining moment is simply, if the commission is brave and honest, it could trigger one of the biggest cleanups in the SAPS's history. And that's what I'm ultimately busy hoping for, because we need the SAPS to be strong. We need them to have a backbone. We need them to fight for the people of this beautiful country and not to fight for the criminal syndicates. We need them to fight for the people of South Africa. There's something terribly wrong in a country where if you are living in a neighborhood where you can't even allow your kids to play outside, there's something terribly wrong with that. And I believe that whenever you are living in a particular neighborhood and your kids can't play outside, right, because you are scared that they're going to get abducted or trafficked somewhere into Europe or wherever they get trafficked to, all right? If that is the case, then any local official government officials that are within that municipality, they need to seriously reconsider their job title. And I believe that they need to either resign or ultimately be fired, and that competent individuals need to step up and fulfill their role and purpose, okay? And that might be you. You might need to, kind of sign up for community development or to do something within your community? I don't know. But what I am saying is things can't carry on the way they're busy carrying on. There's something terribly wrong when a child can't even drive their bike back home at night because of the levels of crime within a country. The government then has ultimately failed to fulfill its responsibilities. The police force has failed to fulfill its responsibilities too, all right? And therefore, we need to trust that God's going to expose the corruption, that God's going to reveal what needs to be revealed so that healing can take place in this beautiful country. Okay, so the second part of that coin there, the other side of the coin is, if it gets watered down or stalled, it'll just be another chapter of truth without justice. And I'm really hoping that that will not take place and happen. So the purpose of this video here today is also twofold. Number one, from a personal point of view, I want you today to become a person, or to at least decide to become the person who's going to walk, or to become a person who walks with integrity. You're not going to sell out. You're not going to also become corrupt, because the reality is this: whatever's in the dark will come out into the open, right? I mean, you can only lie so much. Eventually, the truth is going to come out. That's the amazing thing. The truth, listen to me very carefully. The truth always comes out. And that is the only thing that can set us free. It's knowing the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So make the decision today to walk with integrity, to walk and pursue what is righteous, what is good, what is praiseworthy, what is noble, and what is actually eternal. Pursue those things. And then number two, all right, this is now the national call. It's to pray that God would expose the wickedness in this country, so that healing can take place. So that's the first part of the prayer. The second part of the prayer is that you would pray, and I would pray, that God would remove the corrupt officials and raise up righteous officials. That is what we're going to be trusting God for today. And then number three, that God would give you as an individual, and myself as citizens of this beautiful country, that God would give you and I the courage to say what needs to be said and to do what needs to be done. To say what needs to be said and to do what needs to be done according to His will. Let His kingdom come, let His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And then lastly, for you to pray for General Mkhwanazi, to pray for him, that God would protect him and his beautiful family, right? And that he would continue to fulfill the purpose God has called him to fulfill. That's our time here this morning. Please again, like this video, subscribe, share this video far and wide, and let us see South Africa become the beautiful country, the beautiful nation that God has called it to be. Campione, we are living in the greatest country ever. Ever. Not because of our politics, but because God has got a purpose for this nation, and you and I are a part of that purpose. God bless you. Until next time, just know today, namhlanje, that your voice and your life matters.